The Scion brand may be defunct, however, this isn't stopping the Toyota Motor Corporation from making youthful vehicles. The formerly known Scion IA is now the Toyota Yaris IA, and with this transition for rebranding Scions into Toyotas, this may be a great move for the company. So let's go ahead and check out and take a closer look at this 2017 Toyota Yaris IA. Now, first things first, the Yaris IA really isn't a full-on Toyota. It's based off of the Mazda 2 and shares many components with that vehicle, and you can especially see that on the interior of the Yaris IA here. It looks like it came straight off of a Mazda. But however, the Yaris IA hasn't changed for the 2017 model year, except for that it gets the rebranded Toyota badge and then it gets the Yaris name. But overall, as far as styling goes on the vehicle, I think it's pretty conservative looking. You won't find anything like LED daytime running lights. But what is nice about the Yaris IA here is that it comes in one single model only, and you just choose your color and then choose accessories on the vehicle. There's no different trim levels for the vehicle like a LE, XLE, or anything like that. It's just the base model, and it comes pretty well equipped. Now here goes the key fob design for the vehicle. It's your Toyota Smart Key. It's a little different looking from Toyota's other Smart Keys. That's because it has pretty much a Mazda Smart Key here, and it just has the Toyota badge on it. But you have your lock, unlock, to release your trunk, and then your panic button. Now this is known as the Abyss Blue exterior color, and it doesn't have Smart Key access on the outside. However, it does have push button ignition when we get on the inside of the IA here. And you'll find a two-toned dark blue and black cloth interior. I really like this dark blue because I think it matches the exterior quite nicely. You also do have a full-on manual driver's seat, and you have blue stitching on the seats right here, which is nice. Alright, now stepping on inside of the Yaris IA here, like I said, this interior pretty much comes straight out of a Mazda, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Mazda in recent years has been creating some pretty premium and high quality looking interiors. I really do like the stitching on the dashboard, and then it's also soft touch. Overall, it's a really nice looking cabin design, especially given the price for this vehicle. And I think it's much better looking than Toyota's own Corolla. Now you do have push button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And what you're hearing there is a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. Coming to your transmission, pretty standard stuff here. 6-speed automatic, manual shiftability. And when you put the vehicle into reverse, rear view camera with guidance lines, no trajectory however. And you have your parking brake right here. Let's go ahead and turn on the headlights and the hazards. Automatic driver's side window. Pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. You have LED side turn signal indicators. 16-inch alloy wheels. Halogen headlights. Powering the Yaris IA here is a 1.5 liter inline 4-cylinder that produces 106 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 103 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM, with EPA estimates being a very healthy 32 in the city and 40 on the highway. And this car doesn't even have a CVT automatic, so with that 6-speed automatic, that's actually pretty reasonable. And if fuel efficiency is your main priority, then the Yaris IA will certainly not disappoint. However, it certainly does lack a lot of power here and can feel pretty anemic at times. But the 6-speed automatic transmission does shift pretty well with this 1.5 liter 4-cylinder. Makes for a wonderful pair. Competitors of the Yaris IA, you have the vehicles in the subcompact car class. This includes the likes of the Ford Fiesta, Nissan Versa, and the Chevrolet Sonic. Total pricing of this vehicle is $17,915. It's a pretty good value. EPA estimates, like I said, 32 city, 40 highway. And the government 5-star safety ratings hasn't been rated yet. And the final assembly point for this vehicle is actually in Mexico. And coming to the rear of the vehicle, you can see more of that Mazda design here, especially in the taillights. And you have a chrome exhaust tip, as well as a rear window defroster. All of your basic power necessities, power windows, door locks, and your mirrors. Interior quality in the Yaris IA is pretty good, especially given the price point of this vehicle. Now, it does lack soft touch materials on the upper door panel and up on the dashboard. However, the graining of the plastic is pretty nice and looks high quality. And you have a nice soft touch armrest. And then, like I said, this is soft touch on this portion of the dashboard, and you have this nice stitching. Overall, it's certainly not a bad looking interior design. Like I said, this is pretty much a Mazda's interior, and build quality is pretty good, especially given the price point, and you won't find any panel gaps really, and the interior trim and pieces don't creak, and fit and finishes overall quite nice. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the interior of the Yaris IA here. Coming to the steering wheel design, love the steering wheel design. I think it has pretty nice grip, and then also it's pretty sporty looking. Over here we have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, and you have your Bluetooth phone controls. Let's go ahead and test out the voice recognition.
Say a command.
Tune to 102.5 FM. The voice recognition does work quite well. And then over here, we also do have your cruise control buttons. The steering wheel also does manually tilt with a decent range of adjustment. Manually dimming rear view mirror, sunglass container, and your map lights. Down here, you will find a little storage cubby with 2 USB charging ports and a 12-volt power outlet. And then down here, you have your main controller for the head unit, which I'll get to in just a minute. And you have your different driver selectable modes. You have your sports mode. And then you have dual cup holders right here too. The seats in the Yaris IA are extremely comfortable. They're pretty plush, and they offer a pretty good amount of support with the thigh support, and the side bolstering is nice too. I would certainly take a long road trip with this vehicle, only for the front occupants. Down here, we also do have your AC controls, fan speeds, different zones, and your temperatures. One part I don't like is that the glove box slams right down, but this is a subcompact car. This isn't supposed to be a luxury vehicle. The gauges are quite nice in the Yaris IA, as they have a pretty unique looking setup. You have your speedometer right in the center, and then on the left you will find your tach, and then it shows you what gear you're in. And on the right, fuel gauge and your exterior temperature readout, as well as your fuel range. Now let's get to the infotainment system here. Now this is what you will find on many other Mazdas. This is not what you will find on Toyotas really. And Toyotas have the Intune system, but this isn't the normal Intune system here. And I rather much prefer this head unit, as it's much more modern, and it's much better looking in my opinion too, as you have these dials down here, or you could control it as a touchscreen, which is pretty nice. Now this is your home screen, and coming to your applications, this reveals your HD radio traffic map. And as you can see, it gives you a little traffic map. And then you also do have your fuel economy monitor, gives you a little bar graph. And what I like about this system and these controls down here is that you have a little back button, which makes it very convenient. And you have your tire rotation, oil change. You can turn your scheduled maintenance on or off if you like, and then your warning guidance. Coming back to the home screen, you have your entertainment. Your different audio sources do include all of the norm, AM, FM, and then you have AHA, Pandora, Stitcher, internet radios, and then your Bluetooth streaming audio, USB port with iPod integration, and your auxiliary input. And then you also do have HD radio, you have iTunes tagging, you have auto memory too. And of course you can select your presets, all that good stuff, and change your sound settings. And then right here you have your communication. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, have all of your contacts stored on here, view your call history, text messages. I love this head unit. I wish they would put this in more Toyotas. They should put this in the Camry and the Corolla. It's just a much better looking infotainment system. Then you have your integrated compass. And you have your navigation system. However, you have to have the SD card inserted into the slot right here if you want to activate that. And your Toyota dealer will give you that. And then you have your many different settings here, like the display, safety for your pre-collision system, which does come as standard equipment on this vehicle, and then your sound, clock, vehicle settings, devices, system, many different settings that you can change here. Overall, love this head unit here. I love how it's a touchscreen and that you could control it by the controls down here, and it's very modern with good, crisp and clear graphics, and it's very intuitive. Now, as far as the way the Yaris IA drives, this vehicle drives much like a Mazda, which is not necessarily a bad thing, and it's actually quite fun, I have to say, and it feels pretty nimble around corners. It's predictable, and it's pretty precise too, especially for a subcompact car. It's certainly one of the better handling vehicles in the class. The only area where the Yaris IA lacks is certainly in its powertrain. The 1.5 liter four-cylinder can feel anemic at times. However, if fuel efficiency is a main priority for you, then it certainly will not disappoint with 40 miles to the gallon on the highway. Overall, driving the Yaris IA, however, it should be a pleasure to drive, and the ride quality is pretty comfortable and soaks up road bumps fairly well. All right, and let's go ahead and shut down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle. Materials back here pretty much follow through in the rear. And back here you will find rear adjustable headrests, which is nice for all three seats. Now, sitting back here, it is pretty tight on rear seat legroom, but what can you expect? This is a subcompact car. But if you're looking for the most interior space, certainly check out the Nissan Versa that has plenty of space for its rear seat occupants. Now, you do have a single map pocket right here, and you have a little storage cubby right there too. And the headroom, not too bad, but the legroom, it can be quite tight back here. All right. There's an okay amount of trunk space. You have your IA floor mats. And the rear seats do fold down, 60-40 split. Full manual passenger seat. So with its exceptional fuel economy numbers, its fun to drive nature, and its great value, the 2017 Toyota Yaris IA is a pretty good choice for a subcompact vehicle. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.